Good evening, I'm Mi Jung Lee. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to a special online edition of CTV News at 6. We begin tonight with new charges in the escape of notorious fugitive Barbie Al-Khalil. Police say people posing as contractors helped him escape from jail 3 years ago. But the big question, where is the convicted murderer? CTV's Shannon Patterson reports.
These two men, who allegedly posed as contractors to help accused murderer Barbie Al-Khalil escape from North Fraser Pretrial Centre in Port Coquitlam in July 2022, have been arrested and charged, along with a third man with conspiracy to commit prison breach and prison breach.
Those individuals are Edward Ayoub, 48 of Ottawa, John Potvin, 49 of Ottawa, and Ryan Van Gool, 46 of Harrison Hot Springs.
During that investigation, police gathered further information that resulted in the prevention of a murder in Kamloops. As well, we were able to lay charges in a shooting in Maple Ridge.
RCMP also addressed media reports that Al-Khalil himself has been arrested in Qatar.
We have channels and systems in place when people have left the country and they are wanted. But in this case, we cannot confirm with you today that he has been arrested.
John Potvin, one of the men charged with helping Al-Khalil escape, is still at large. And RCMP say so is the man he allegedly broke out of prison.
At this point, Barbie Al-Khalil remains at large. So if anyone with information about Barbie Al-Khalil, we invite them to come forward and contact their local police agency. At this point, there is still a Canada-wide warrant and a red notice out for Barbie Al-Khalil. That has not changed.
You have to understand that Mr. Al-Khalil belongs to an organization that is known for its transnational reach. He could be in Canada, he could be anywhere else in part of the world.
A month after the escape, Al-Khalil was convicted in absentia of first-degree murder in connection with a deadly 2012 gang shooting at the Wall Centre in downtown Vancouver. As for how he could possibly have been able to walk away,
I think that's a question for our counterparts with corrections, because that part we do not control.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
The man accused of stabbing 3 people at a Chinatown festival 2 years ago is now on trial. Blair Donnelly is charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault. While he admits to the crime, he has pleaded not guilty. CTV's Penny Daflos has the details from BC Supreme Court.
This was day 1 of the trial for Blair Donnelly, who sat quietly as he heard both the Crown and defense lawyers agree that he did stab those 3 people. However, Donnelly pleaded not guilty, and his lawyer will argue that he is not criminally responsible. You'll remember it was the Light Up Chinatown Festival in 2023 where 3 people were stabbed by the main stage. Vancouver police arrested a suspect a short time later. We would learn that Donnelly was on a day pass from the Colony Farm Psychiatric Facility, which enraged the public and political leaders, leading to a review that found he'd been on 99 unescorted leaves without incident before the triple stabbing. Donnelly has been a resident of the psychiatric hospital since killing his daughter in 2006. He was found not criminally responsible after suffering psychotic delusions that God told him that he wanted him to kill her. Donnelly held a Bible and appeared to be taking notes at various points in the proceedings. This trial is being heard by a judge alone and could wrap up as early as next week. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
Turning now to the escalating job action by BC's public servants. Hundreds more members of the BC General Employees Union will join picket lines starting tomorrow. CTV's Rob Buffum has the details.
Give power!
Strike action by government workers is escalating. BCGEU announcing it will expand its picket lines to an additional 14 locations and 10 new communities across the province.
Whether that's Nelson, Williams Lake, Kamloops, Smithers, Fort St. John, all across the province, you're going to see picket lines come up as over 1,000 more BCG members join their colleagues.
For nearly a week, the union has been picketing 9 sites in Victoria, Surrey, and Prince George, holding out for higher wages.
We're keen for a deal that's fair to workers, that recognizes the hard work done by government employees right across the province, making life better for British Columbians, and is also fair to taxpayers, recognizing the fiscal headwinds that the province is facing.
2 of the new locations for Tuesday will be here in Victoria, including outside this financial services building. that is just up the block from where there are currently picketers in front of the museum and across the street from the legislature. The union says their chosen spots will continue to have minimal impact on the public, at least for now.
After a while, if government does not come to the table, that will change.
There has been speculation the strike will eventually grow to include liquor distribution branches, like it did in the last BCGEU strike in 2022, something the restaurant industry is bracing for.
If this was going on for more than 3 days, you'll start to see out of stocks in restaurants, absolutely for sure.
The Professional Employees Union has already joined BCGEU in striking, and public sector employees from another union, Move Up, representing workers at ICBC, BC Hydro, BC Transit, and Cap College, say they will join the picket lines soon if there's not a good offer.
BC's labor movement is united and in the belief that public sector workers deserve better.
Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria. Rob, how far apart are the union and the government in their negotiations?
Well, Mei Jung, the union is asking for wage increases of 8.25% over the next 2 years. The government says, as of today, they have countered with an offer of 4.5% on average in terms of raises. So they're still a ways apart. And don't forget, of course, there's multiple unions, including the teachers and nurses union, renegotiating their contracts this fall with an expectation that they will get the same raise. So expect some very tough negotiations going forward still, and picketers like those behind me here at the Royal BC Museum to be here for some time to come. Mei Jung.
Rob Buffum reporting tonight from Victoria. Now to an update on a homicide in Maple Ridge last month. Investigators confirming today that human remains found at a home belonged to a 43-year-old woman who was reported missing earlier this summer. Jessica Cunningham was last seen in June and reported missing in July. Her partner, Miley Barron, has been charged with indignity to human remains after her remains were discovered at their home on Gillis Place, August 26. Investigators say they are still working to determine the circumstances that led to Cunningham's death. Vancouver's mayor and the police chief say their tough-on-crime approach will continue on the downtown east side as a controversial task force winds down. They say they plan on maintaining the work to target violence and organized crime. But as CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports, some are questioning whether the numbers make sense.
The city's top brass lined up Monday to tout how a task force aimed at tackling public safety in the downtown east side is paying off.
The downtown east side is safer today than it was months ago, and that's because of Task Force Barrage.
Violent crime in the downtown east side and across the city is down significantly. As of today, our numbers are the same as they were in 2002.
Crime was already declining in the city prior to the formation of the task force in February.
I think they've conflated some of the data points. We know that crime's been trending down citywide, and unfortunately when they give this sort of data as a percentage, it doesn't really indicate what the real change is.
The $5 million initiative was launched to target crime and street disorder. One advocacy group says policing isn't the answer.
They're going to try and police their way out of all the problems down here, like housing and different things like that. It's not going to happen. 6
months in, the plan is to continue the work as Barrage transitions into something new, a VPD-led team to provide more oversight in the neighborhood.
We will move towards making the downtown east side its own geographical policing district, District 5. This will be a historical change.
A pilot project called VanStat will also be rolled out.
It brings VPD's weekly computer statistic reporting together with monthly cross-department performance review meetings.
Moving into this more holistic approach is something we've been asking for many months, many years.
Barrage has faced controversy, allegations of arrest quotas, and the mayor's failure to get the funding approved by an oversight body.
I have briefed the Vancouver Police Board on the results from Task Force Barrage and our plans moving forward.
As for the cost, the VPD says it's working on it, despite the city being only months away from finalizing next year's budget. Isabella Zaffarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
A brazen shooting in a taxi in Langley over the weekend has left one man dead. It happened just before 10:30 on Friday night near 200th Street and 53A Avenue. The integrated homicide investigation team has taken over the case and says the man was a passenger in the car and died on scene. iHit says police are currently trying to identify the man and whether there are any connections to the BC gang conflict.
The shooting occurred while the victim was inside a taxi, and there is only one victim and no other reports of injuries. iHit is working closely with their partnership with the Langley RCMP, BC Coroner Service, Integrated Forensic Identification Services, and our other policing partners.
iHit is looking to speak with anyone who may have dash cam footage of the area that night. Police are investigating after shots were fired at a parked vehicle in a Surrey neighborhood early this morning. Officers were called to a home near 124th Street and 58 Avenue around 4 a.m. No one was hurt. Investigators are still working to determine the motive behind the shooting and have not yet ruled out the possibility that it is extortion related. Impaired driving is suspected in a deadly wrong-way crash on the Coquihalla Highway near Kamloops. 2 women were killed when their vehicle was struck head-on by a Dodge Ram pickup truck around 9 p.m. on Friday. The victims were 36 and 27 years old. A GoFundMe page identifying one of the victims as Utsukka Adhikari, a recent graduate from Thompson Rivers University who moved to Canada from Nepal. 2 others in the same vehicle were also seriously injured, as was the driver of the pickup. School may be in full swing and summer vacation in the rearview mirror, but fire season is here to stay, at least for the next little bit. In an update this afternoon from the provincial government, people are being urged to stay vigilant. With more than 100 fires still active in the province and fires such as the Mine Creek wildfire still out of control, the forest minister says fire season is far from over.
With recent above seasonal temperatures and continued lightning throughout the province, we still have more work to do. This is the new normal, longer and more intense wildfire seasons.
Canada has issued a weather alert for severe thunderstorms in some places. It says despite receiving some rainfall, it's still not enough to combat the extended period of dry conditions, heightening the risks of lightning-induced fires. Doctors, nurses, and First Nations leaders gathered in Vancouver today to sound the alarm on the health risks posed by BC's fossil fuel industry.
We collectively and urgently call on the BC government to first and foremost fund a comprehensive independent health impact assessment of LNG and fracking in BC and pause all new fracking and LNG development until it is completed.
The group outlines 7 actions it wants BC to take to address their concerns today. On Commercial Drive, they're responding to recent legislation known as Bills 14 and 15 that allows the province to fast-track LNG projects, amongst others. The group argues these projects are driving climate change, harming Indigenous communities, and straining the healthcare system. The gondola at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort in Golden is back up and running. In March, one of the gondola cabins fell about 1 meter from the lift cable. 8 passengers inside avoided serious injury. The gondola has been closed ever since. The resort says all the hangar arms have now been replaced and all required testing is complete. The lift fully reopened to the public yesterday. The Eagle's Eye restaurant is set to open September 15th. It took 3 days and multiple crews to free a humpback whale tangled up in fishing gear off the coast of northern Vancouver Island. The rescue began last Thursday when Tutu, the 5-year-old whale, was spotted near Texada Island, caught in more than 150 meters of prawning gear. Fishery officers from Campbell River managed to find the whale and attach a satellite tracking device to it. That allowed crews to follow Tutu for the next 2 days and slowly cut away the gear. By Saturday, rescuers reported the whale was free. The team says if it hadn't removed the gear, the humpback would have died.
It impacts their ability to forage, and also they get, this animal was definitely had abrasions on its fluke, and it's kind of peduncle area on the back. So it doesn't, this rope is pretty nasty, this polysteel, so it caused abrasions and injuries, and you can get those infections. Just seeing the last bit of gear, because we knew exactly what was left, and seeing it all there in the kelp bed and the animal off free is unbelievable.
DFO says it has been a busy summer for marine mammal rescues, with the team averaging 2 disentanglements per week. It appears one driver in Prince George really toyed with traffic laws after being spotted behind the wheel of a child-sized pink Barbie Jeep. RCMP say the plastic vehicle pulled into traffic during the busy morning commute on Friday. The joyride ended with the driver being arrested. His driver's license had already been suspended, and he failed 2 breathalyzer tests. He was also handed a 90-day driving prohibition. Well, that's all for this online edition of CTV News at 6. We'll be back to normal TV programming tomorrow. Craig Krause is following any developing stories tonight. Join him for CTV News at 11:30. Have a great evening.